Hello, my dear INFJ entrepreneurs. Welcome back to another video. This week, we are going to talk about leadership and how to lead as an introvert business owner. Now, if you have not seen my video on self-leadership, you need to go and watch that video first. But if you have missed that one, I'm going to resume that video for you very quickly. So in my opinion, leadership, the ability to lead, starts with your ability to lead yourself. And self-leadership is basically this concept of how you spend your time. When you're saying that you're going to do something, are you doing it? Are you able to lead yourself in business when the results are just not there? Are you the type of person who needs constant external validation, or are you able to self-validate and self-lead? A very good example for you to imagine self-leadership is this entire YouTube channel / podcast. I've been posting every single week. I've been organizing virtual hangouts every single month throughout the entire year. Now, were there times when I felt like I really don't feel like going live and networking, even if you're amazing? Like, were there times when I had something else going on for me? There are times when I didn't feel like recording, or I didn't feel well to record, or I have other things going on. Yes, 100%. But because I said I'm gonna do this, I'm leading myself through it, and I promised myself that I'm gonna do it, so I'm doing it. So when we have a really, really good self-leadership, is usually when we're able to lead ourselves and hold ourselves to our own words. So when we say we're gonna do something, we are doing it. I am doing it. If one person shows up, I'm leading myself and creating this channel, for example, even if one person is watching or 0% is watching, I am leading those virtual hangouts. If 5 of you show up, if 2 of you show up, if one person shows up, if I'm going to be the only one on the call, it doesn't matter. It's happening anyway. And I think leadership skill, to be able to lead other people, I think the foundation to that is your ability to lead yourself. Is to lead yourself even when you don't feel like it, you don't feel good, you don't feel like sending a message, you don't feel like showing up for your business and for yourself. That is like self-leadership one-on-one. If you said you're gonna do something, are you doing it? And I've been doing this silly experiment to teach myself self-leadership on a daily basis. And I've been doing many things that scare me per se, and not to just lead this group or lead the channel or lead the podcast, but also I've been doing this thing where I'm living on a 4th floor in my apartment, and there is elevator and there are stairs. And I told myself that every single day, once a day, I'm gonna take the stairs instead of the elevator because I want to keep myself moving. And it just became to this just silly thing because I said to myself that I'm going to walk the stairs once a day, every day. And sometimes, guys, I'm exhausted, and sometimes I'm carrying heavy shit, and sometimes the elevator is right in front of me, open and empty, and I go to the staircase instead, and I walk up the staircase, those four floors. And I could easily hop in and just say to myself, well, it's just this once, just this once, I'm gonna take the elevator. It's right there, it's empty, it's literally like openly waiting for me. But I choose to walk the stairs and turning away from the open elevator and then going to the staircase and just walking up the 4th floor. And I'm always out of breath when I'm doing it, but I'm doing it anyway because that's what I told to myself, because I want to be the type of person that when I say something, that I'm gonna do something, I know for a fact that even if it's hard, even if it's uncomfortable, I'm gonna keep doing that. Now that's my self-leadership concept. And again, the other video that I did goes deeper into the topics, but I want you to ask yourself, how are you leading yourself? How are you leading yourself when no one is watching? When you said to yourself that you're going to sit down and reach out to 5 potential clients, send those emails, be brave, organize your event, open your store, research something. Like, how do you feel when you said you're going to do something and you are not doing it? And what are the things that you said you're going to do, and are you doing them? So ask yourself, am I trusting my own leadership? If I said I'm going to do this, am I like making up excuses why I can't do that day, or am I doing it anyway? Because I think the more you're able to lead yourself and have small reminders, for me, it's a staircase. I know now that I became the person who will not skip it because I can't face myself if I don't do it. Now, in order for you to lead anyone, to lead a team, to lead people, to lead a company, to lead a business, you have to first be really good at leading yourself. And you have to be exemplary in the way you lead yourself. You hold yourself accountable to yourself. You take responsibility for yourself, for your things, for the things that you do, the things that you don't do. But you have to be really good at that first. You cannot be leading people and expecting people to follow you if you can't even lead yourself, and you can't even hold yourself accountable for something that you said you're going to do and you don't do it. So that's the basics and 101s of leadership. Leadership is not this, oh, I have to travel outside of myself. I have to be this aggressive person, or I have to be this very assertive person so that people would listen to me. And I used to think that too. I used to think that I would have to be this strong, a very authoritative person for me to be able to lead anyone. And I learned that it's not at all the case. And I'm very sorry if someone modeled that leadership to you. If your father was like that, if your father was this authoritative, like, you must respect me because I'm your father, because even though I didn't earn respect, because I'm a father, which you didn't even ask for, but somehow you're supposed to follow people. Start to resent leaders because we see them as tyrants. We see them as, you do it because I told you so. And I don't think that the type of leadership is beneficial for the people who are being led by you, or that they would be willing and happy to follow you. Leadership doesn't have to be tyranny. So if you ever wanted to lead people, or if you ever considered leading people, one part of that equation is your ability to lead yourself, and then that translates to how are you with the people? Are you setting an example to them? Yes or no? It's really hard for people to accept you as their leader, and you will find yourself to resort to coercion, to resort to threats, or fear. I think maybe our leadership has been modeled after fear, that you would have to fear losing your job, or fear of being humiliated by your boss, or that has to be some kind of fear, you follow people because you're afraid of them. And I don't think that type of leader is the type of leader I ever wanted to become. I never wanted people to fear me. I wanted to be confident and certain about things and lead myself that way, and then let people be inspired by that, and that's why they're listening to me. Another thing I wanted to cover with leadership is that there is this image that leaders, they have to be perfect. That in order for you to lead, you have to be this, you have to know everything, you have to have everything figured out, and then you earn the right to lead people and to tell them what to do. And most people are actually imperfect leaders. I'm not perfect by any stretch of the imagination. I make mistakes, I make grammatical mistakes. Maybe in this video, I made some mistakes here, and I'm not perfect in the way I speak and the way I express myself, in the way I am. And I'm still able to lead people. And it's not because I'm this authoritative figure. It's because I understand I'm not perfect. But just because I'm not perfect, it doesn't mean I can't lead. It doesn't mean I have to be perfect. And I think one of the biggest trap in people in leadership positions is they believe that they have to be this perfect, idolized person. And I don't think that's a healthy way to cultivate in your organizations, because you will have bad days and you will be falling out of the sky the minute you are making a mistake. So I think when you are leading, you have to be first authentically you. So you have to be human. You have to be like, well, I'm not perfect. And you have to lead from that, but you also have to be someone who shows an example of their own leadership being really fucking good, you know? So I think those elements are very important for you to be able to lead people. And when you are removing the pressure to be perfect, you will be showing up in a much more flexible and much more calm and relaxed and centered place. When we don't want to be perfect, when we don't want to have all the answers, but we can say, you know what? I don't know. Let me just look it up for you, or let me figure it out for you. If we have that mindset as a leader, even, that shows to people that we're not perfect, but we are trying to fix and solve and move forward and learn at the same time. So I think if you can embrace self-leadership, imperfect leadership, and authenticity in the way you lead people, I think people would be so happy to follow you, and people would be so happy to be in your organization, right? It doesn't have to be coercive. It doesn't have to be this like perfect person. It doesn't have to be any of that. It just has to start with you as a person, how you carry yourself, and your ability to admit if you don't know something, or if you need help with something, if you haven't figured something out, and kind of open that conversation to the people in your team or organization so that everyone can chime in and help you lift some of the weight that you don't have to do by yourself. So I really hope this was helpful. I'm sorry if I went on a tangent. There are so many things I want to say. Maybe I'm going to create a separate video on finding your why and what are some of the reasons to be in business and what are some of the reasons not to be in business for. If you're curious to have like a more elaborated version of the finding your why, let me know in the comments. I would definitely want to talk more on that. Thank you so much for watching and listening. And don't forget, drive over fear, progress over perfection. Thank you so much.